Hello everyone, welcome to another Data Analytica video. So in today's video, we will actually see how to do this setup Airflow DAG and also like how to run this notebook, which is actually PySpark Data Engineering using a Databricks Job ID. So let's dive into it. So the first thing that you require for this is Docker Desktop. And if you haven't already installed it in your system, then you can actually just Google install Docker Desktop, and it's quite straightforward. You can actually download the one for your specific system and then install it. So I have already got it installed. So I will show you how it looks like once you have installed it. Okay, so here it is, and you can see that we have actually now it's showing only those running containers and I have none running at the moment. So what I'm going to do is once this Docker Desktop is installed in your system, you can also start creating a container for Airflow. So creating an Airflow image. So that's what we are going to do next. In order to install the Airflow image or the container in Docker, so what we're going to do is we are going to first create a project directory. And in order to do that, I'm here with PowerShell and I'm actually under C user Sariga Mudatil, and then I'm going to create a make directory Airflow Docker. So I'm going to create this Airflow Docker, and it has been created. And then after that, I'll just get that directory opened. And inside, we're going to place a Docker Compose file and also the DAGs folder. So how to do that? We will actually create 3 folders inside it. Make directory logs and also some plugins if we need. Okay, so here we are with these directories created. And after that, what we are going to do is, each folder DAGs is actually for storing all DAGs related to Airflow. And then logs actually stores all logs related to runs, and then plugins if some custom operator hooks etc. Then it's optional. It's not required or mandatory it's an optional one. And the next thing that we're going to do is I will actually open this folder in Visual Studio Code where we are going to create a Docker Compose file. Okay, so I have opened that Airflow Docker directory, and next thing that we're going to do is we will actually in order to create the Docker Compose file, what I'm going to do is in the project folder, we are going to create a new file named Docker Compose.yaml. Okay, and I'm going to copy and paste all the things that we require. So please So here we can see that this Docker Compose file has actually the services that we are going to use. It here you can see that it has actually the Postgres database it's going to use, and this is pretty standard Postgres user password. So this is actually how it usually looks like, and if you would like to change it, you can change here. And then we are going to have Airflow web server and also Airflow scheduler. So here you can see that we are having Okay, so I actually changed it a bit because we're going to use not the Apache Airflow image, but we're going to use a custom Airflow image because we will actually require some more imports, or actually like some kind of install uh, or some libraries like for the Databricks. So in order to do that, we're actually using a custom Airflow image, and other things remain as standard. And here there's another thing that we have is actually Airflow Fernet key, which is used to store the connection keys or passwords, and this we will require for the Databricks connection. So here you can see that this is actually referring to a .environment file variable, and here I'm going to create a .env file, and here you will actually save this fernet key, and I can show you how to create that. So before that, so this is about the web server, actually like it to show you like local executor, fernet key, examples, volumes, like where to actually store, and then port. So this is where we access that Airflow web server. And we also have a scheduler service. So for this also we'll use this custom Airflow image, and for this also we'll use this fernet key, which we are going to create soon. And then we know that this is actually like the command is scheduler, whereas for web server it's web server, and other things remain the, I would say, like pretty same. So it depends on Postgres. And yeah, this is a pretty standard Docker Compose file, YAML file, and here you will be able to see all the services that we're going to require. Okay, so the next step that we're going to use is, right, like I mentioned, here we are going to need some additional requirements or some installations, additional installations for the Databricks connection. So how to do that? We're going to create a requirements txt file, and here I'm gonna need two modules, which are actually Apache Airflow providers Databricks for the Databricks connection, and also Apache Airflow providers Open Lineage, which is actually the version needs to be greater than 1.80 to actually match with the version that we're going to install. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually the requirements text that we have. And next thing, like I mentioned, in the .env file, we need to save this Airflow fernet key. And in order to get that is equal to the key, so which we're going to generate now. And how to generate it? So this is a command that needs to be run in this Airflow Docker directory. Docker compose run Airflow web server Python, and from cryptography.fernet import fernet. And after that, the generated key needs to be printed, and once we run it, let's wait for that fernet key to be printed so that we can actually copy it to the .env file. Okay, so it has been printed, and here, as you can see, it actually ends with an equal to sign. So I'm going to print it here. And likewise, for your project directory, you can create your fernet key for Airflow. And we have already given this binding to the environment variable, so here we are, we don't have to copy it in both places. And if you, in order to actually, like if in case you are going to upload this project to Git or something, so this .env file is always better. And the next thing that we are going to do is we'll actually create a Docker file, which will actually be used to install these requirements. So how to create that? You can create a new file, Docker file, okay? And here, what we are going to do is we will actually, so this is the code. So from Apache Airflow 2.7.1, using the user as root and also using here user Airflow. So we will copy all the requirements and then we will run pip install no cache directory requirements text. So this actually Docker file gets run when we build this Docker image. So I'm going to show you how it's being done. So before that, so this is how that Docker file looks like, where it actually copy the requirements from this requirements text file and then it installs all the requirements in it. Okay, so we have now those Docker Compose YAML, Docker file and requirements.txt. So the next thing that we're going to do is we need to initialize Airflow database, the Airflow Postgres database, which is actually an important step when we start a container. So in order to do that, this is actually the command that has been used, docker compose run rm Airflow web server. So this is going to be for the web server and then Airflow DB init. Okay, so let's run it. Let's wait for it to this Postgres database to be created. Okay, so the initialization has been done. And next thing that is actually like what we are going to do is we'll create an admin user. And in order to do that, okay, so I'm going to paste a docker compose run command, which actually create username admin, password also admin, and first name admin, last name user, role admin, and we'll also give an sample email ID for that. And after that, we will run this. Okay, so it says admin already exists in the DB. So we already have that created. And then next thing that we are going to do is we will actually build, like I mentioned, we will run build and we'll also give a no cache. Okay, so here if you look at this, it's running pip install those requirements where we actually provided that Apache Airflow provider Databricks. So it's actually getting installed here. So let's wait for it to run. Okay, so it has been installed without any error, and so that's good. And the next thing that we're going to do is we will actually uh, build. So we have already built it, sorry. Now we can actually start. So how to do that? Docker compose up. In the meantime, we can check uh, Docker desktop, where we can find that this actually it's running. There is this Postgres, Airflow web server, and scheduler. So those services that we mentioned, they're actually now in the running stage. So let's try to access. Okay, so let's wait. Um, it's still running, so let's wait. Okay, super. Now it is actually, we can see that something has, it's showing the login page, the sign in page, where you can see that we have this admin, so which is the one that we gave when we created a user. So let's try to sign in. Okay, so here we are, and this is like if you are not familiar with uh, Airflow. So in Airflow, it's actually an orchestrator with so many DAGs that you can create. So DAG is like actually some type of. So DAGs stand for Directed Acyclic Graph. So that's actually usually a collection of all the tasks that you want to run and organized in a way that you can see the relationships and dependencies. So like from one process or one step to another, so you can see the whole picture of how that task gets run. So here you can see that because we don't have any DAGs created as of now, here all DAGs showing as 0. So the next task that we have is to create a connection, so Databricks connection, and we will then use that Databricks connection to generate or create a DAG that will run a job ID from the Databricks. In order to create a Databricks connection, what we need to do is we'll have to go to the admin. Under admin, there is this connections, options, and under connections, you can see that there are like lots of default connections available. And if you scroll down, then you can see that there is this Databricks default as well. And we are going to use this connection. And in order to use this, we'll have to edit it. And so here we're not going to change its connection ID. It's going to be Databricks default. And then what we're going to do is we'll change the host. So here the host that we are using is this, and we'll change localhost to this, and please remove the slash, the forward slash. And then under login, no need to specify anything. And under password, what we need to provide is personal access token from Databricks so that the connection can be established. In order to create a personal access token, we have to go to the developers section under user, and there is this access tokens manage. So here you can see that I have already one created. So in order to create a new token, you can generate new token, and you can specify for what reason you'll actually use this token for. And once you specify this, you can also specify its lifetime. So how many days you need that token to be active. And so here I gave I have already created, so I can show you one as a test one and test 90 days. So once you click on generate, like all of the tokens, because it's too confidential, it's always make sure to copy the token to a safe place because you won't be able to have an option to see it again. So once you have copied, you can actually click on done. And here I have copied my token that has been generated for Airflow to a safe place. And so I'm going to revoke this token because I'm no longer not going to use this anymore. Okay, so once you have that token copied, what you'll have to do is you'll have to copy that token to token and paste it to the near to the password. Okay, so password is here, save. Okay, super. So now we have changed the connection to make it more specific to the one that we use. So after that, the next thing that we can do is to create a DAG. So in order to create a DAG, let's go to the Airflow Docker directory. And under DAGs, you can actually create a new DAGs using Python. And we can name it as Databricks DAG .py. Okay. And I'm going to just copy and paste, which is actually like a how to. So this is going to be the DAG that we have, the DAGs code that we are going to use. And here you can see that this is actually a Python code, and it follows pretty the standard structure of a DAG. And because we are using Databricks, we'll have to import Databricks run now operator, because using this operator we will specify the connection ID that we are going to use and also job ID. So job ID is something that we need to specify. So how to get the job ID is to go to Databricks workspace, go to jobs and pipeline, and we can create a new job. So when you create a new job, the task is going to be run in notebook. So let's give it a name. Run PySpark notebook. Okay, and the workspace is going to be workspace, and here you have the option to select specific notebook that we are going to run, and that's it, notebook environment, and create task. So once we have created task, so here we have option to add parameters, but because I'm not going to use any parameter in this case, so I'm leaving it blank. And here I am actually copying this job ID and going to copy and paste it here. Okay, so this is only the place that you would need to edit or you'll have to make change, because the rest all is actually the DAG ID, start date, schedule interval, and the task ID, Databricks connection ID. So the job ID, you can specify the job that you have created, and wait for termination is a way to tackle when there are more than one task running parallelly, so that one doesn't have to finish for the other one to terminate. One doesn't have to wait for the other one to finish. So I made it to false. You can change it to true if you would wish to. Okay, so once we have this Databricks DAG saved, what I'm going to do is I'll just close it and go to the Airflow DAG section and wait for the new DAG that has been created to appear here, because it usually appears after some time when you have created a new one. So let's wait for it to appear here. Great. So now you can see that, so I just did a refresh page, and here we have the DAG that has been added, newly added. And then, and these DAGs are actually, it's a kind of like a graph. And here you can see the whole pipeline with this relationship and dependencies. So detected is acyclic graph is actually what DAG stands for. And so once it's showing here, what we can do is, well, let's try to trigger it and see if it's triggering fine. So I'll just have actually triggered it, and let's click on that DAG. Great. Here you can see that this at least all the runs and its status. And here you can see that it's actually like there are 2 runs as of now, and both of them showing success, which means we could actually establish the connection, we could run the notebook. So in the meantime, what we need to do is we'll have to check here under that job run and see if it's what here. So here you can see that there are actually 2 runs, and one is queued because it's actually waiting, and here it's actually like the first one is running. So maybe we can cancel it and see if the first one cancel run. Okay, I'll delete it run. Okay, because I just need to see if it's running fine without any errors, and for that we just need 1 run. So here it's actually running, so that means let's wait for it to finish and see if it's able to run without any error or not. Mm-hmm. Okay, so duration is 2 minutes 25 seconds, and you can see that status is succeeded. So which means we could actually establish the DAG to run without any errors, which is great. And maybe we can do it one more time to see if we get the same results again. Okay, so while we wait for it to finish, okay, here you can see that it's actually, now it's running. In the meantime, I can actually specify, or I can show you the steps that we followed as of now. So we installed Docker Desktop first, Docker Desktop installation, and after that we created project directory for Airflow. Okay. And once we have created, okay, I think maybe it's better if I do this in notebook itself. Okay, so let's wait for, okay, maybe in the meantime, okay, it has succeeded, great. In 1 minute, 2 seconds. Okay, super. So let's go to the PySpark Data Engineering and let me try to summarize what we did today. So we actually created our desktop installation that we did. Then we created project directory for Airflow. Created subfolders for DAGs, logs, etc. DAGs logs. Okay. And then what we did was to actually create a Docker Compose file, Docker Compose YAML file with services for Postgres, scheduler, and web service. Then, because we need the Databricks provider to be installed, so to install Databricks provider, add requirements text file. Then we generated a fernet key. And saved in .env file. Then created Docker file to run requirements file. Okay. And after that, initialize Postgres DB plus created admin user. Then we started a container with Postgres, scheduler, and web service. Then we accessed web service, created Databricks connection, using P80 from Databricks. Okay, so maybe this is something that will go with this. P80 and host URL. Okay, and post that we created DAG file in a project directory under DAGs folder. Okay, yeah, that's it. Then okay, maybe before that I think it's better to mention created job ID, job for running notebook, using job ID, triggered DAG. Okay, so that's it actually what we did for Databricks and Airflow connection. So today we saw like how to actually create this DAG and Airflow to run something as a pipeline, to have it to have the request sent. So Airflow can be like, Airflow is usually like widely used with lots of other services, and here I try to show you Databricks Free Edition. And because why we are using this job ID, because this is a free edition. It's there is no other way. There can be other way, but this is actually the easiest way I found. So yeah. So I hope this actually gave you a glimpse of the PySpark Data Engineering project, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your feedback and comments. So see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.